Hi team. Uh, Today we're going to talk about three topics. Mostly, we are going to talk about DHCP snooping. Snooping. It's a way to secure DHCP server. So basically, like we will enable trust on the uplink of the line that's going to the DHCP server, so that we can configure trust on it, so that only this prevent a rogue DHCP server, to prevent someone from putting any rogue DHCP server to the network. Okay. And we're going to do DIA ARP inspection, and this is also another layer of security that we can configure on the uplink of the port that's going to it's connected to the main DHCP server, and both has to be configured together. And then we'll talk about port security. This is a way to secure each port, secure the ports that's connected to end devices, to PCs or access points or whatever. It's used to link the MAC address with the port. Okay, for example, you can and in case someone else tries to connect any other device to the same port, it will shut down, or it will restrict, or it will close the port. Yeah. So this is a way to protect from those cases. And then we'll talk about NTP, which only we'll talk about NTP like the basics of NTP, because the actually NTP is just a way to synchronize all of your devices, access points, PCs, routers, switches, all to the same NTP server at the same time. Synchronize the time. It's a way to synchronize the time. So it's recommended to have one NTP server at least one in your internal network. Okay, so that all your PCs, devices can get from the time, synchronize the time from the main NTP server. It's just one line of code actually. The configuration is pretty simple. Like for example, we can configure NTP like this for the main server. NTP server, let's say time.google.com, something. Okay, like this is if I configure this on the main router, okay, that's usually enough. Okay, so that all other switches which will get your will get NTP, will get the time synchronized with this from this server. Yeah, so it's very simple. And we will talk about syslog. Also, this is just one or two commands, so we will go through it. And we'll talk about CDP also. Syslog is like logs. Like for example, whenever you make any configuration on the switch, when there's an issue or something, there will be logs, right? This is the purpose of syslog. And CDP and LLDP. This is also it's a protocol for discovery. It means it will give you all the devices connected to the router or switch, like all the neighboring devices details, like the name, the make, and this details. And it's also very simple protocol. And we're going to cover this DHCP relay also. We'll just talk about it and briefly. Okay, so because we will focus mainly on those three topics: DHCP snooping, DAI, ARP, and port security. As those are the main topics. The others will just skim through them. Okay, let's start with DHCP snooping. Let's start with the DHCP Snooping. Yeah, and we're going to use the GNS3 for the lab. I will show you how to install this on your PC on a separate video. Okay, but for now just look at what we'll do. For let's work on the DHCP Snooping. So I'm going to put this switch here. The VM is off. 1 second. Or let me close this, start it again. And I'm going to go to GNS3 and I'm going to go new blank projects. Yeah, I'm going to name it practice tab. I'm going to wait so that it will start the said practice lab, but let's practice lab. So let's wait for the VM to be on. Yeah, I think it's ready now. Okay, so let's choose the switch here. Okay, and we'll choose the router here, and we'll choose 2 PCs. This one. Yeah, choose the server. Okay, and then we'll connect using the pass Ethernet 0 here, one line from here to here. Yeah, so basically let's start the router here. Start the switch and start the PCs as well. Start. Let's configure this to DHCP IP DHCP, so it will get from the DHCP. No, there is a better way. 1 second. Edit config. You can just disable this one. It will take from DHCP. Save it and edit. Save it and save this one. And yeah, I think it's already configured. So let's configure DHCP on this one, and let's do show port here, so it will show us the ports. And let's configure. This will be the DHCP server. Okay, and we will configure DHCP snooping here. It has to be configured on this port. 1 second. Yeah, on this port G001, because this is the main line that's connected to the router here. We will configure DHCP Snooping and Dynamic ARP Inspection here on this port. Secure it to trust this port only. So in case any other user tries to put another DHCP on another port, then it will be untrusted. Okay, also we will configure something called rate limiting on those ports. Okay, to prevent the DHCP starvation attack. Like, user could actually make multiple DHCP server might make a rogue DHCP server might make multiple, or a user can use tools like Yersinia or something else, and some other tools that to send many DHCP requests, okay, to destroy the network. So we can add rate limiting here to prevent that. Port security will configure it on these ports, these 2 ports. We'll configure this one to make sure only those this Mac of this PC is used on this port. So let's start. This is the main router. Config T and IP DHCP pool 2 network 192.168.1.0, okay, 255.255.255.0, and default router would be 192.168.1.1, and DNS server 8.8.8.8, and that's pretty much about it. And let's just configure the int G0/1, no, F0/1, F0/0, okay. Okay, so let's just configure the port to give it the right port, IP address 192.168.1.1, and this is about it, and no shutdown. So this will be the main port. Yeah, and let's exclude the IP DHCP, excluded addresses 192.168.100.1, because this is the default gateway. So this is it actually on the configuration on the router. So let's check here and configure. I didn't receive. I've tested on. I'm not sure if it will receive or not. Okay, yeah. Let's do one thing. Let's stop this one. Let's start it again and see. Yeah, as you can see, it received the IP address 192.168.1.2.24 in the gateway as well. Show IP. Yeah, this is the IP address. So the DHCP is actually working. Let's stop this one and start it again. It will also gain assuming it will gain the IP also. So the next step will be, let me write something here. Yeah, the next step will be DHCP snooping, and Dynamic ARP Inspection configuration on port G0/0. Okay, you mean here? This is the port that's connected to the router, right? This will add it here. Okay, so let's open the switch. Let's just open the Cisco switch here. Yeah, so let's enable config t and int g0/0. No, first actually you have to enable it globally. IP DHCP snooping, and we will put it. Also, we have to add the VLAN, and so we will put the VLAN here. Because we will separate each VLAN. We'll put this one on VLAN 10, this one VLAN 20. So let's put 10 and 20. Okay, and also IP dynamic dynamic ARP inspection is DHCP, and DHCP ARP inspection. One second, there was a command here that it's actually dynamic. One second. Discovery stopped, config first. One second. IP. It's actually dynamic. DHCP. No, it's actually ARP. Yeah. I think it's ARP. Yeah. ARP inspection. And then we are supposed to configure the VLAN 1020. So you have to configure this on the global configuration. Then you go to the port int G0/0 IP DHCP snooping trust. Okay, this is the main configuration. So now it will trust only this DHCP server. Okay, and then IP ARP inspection, and then trust as well. So this is how so now so basically this is it. Okay, and then there's one more thing we need to do. Exit this one, put this in VLAN 1, VLAN 10. This will be VLAN 10, and this will be VLAN 20. And also we'll configure port security here. Port security. So port security, so let's put it at G0/2. Okay, switch port mode access, and we'll configure port security. But before port security, let's configure the trust. Okay, IP DHCP snooping. I mean the limit. Okay, it's actually rate, and then you're supposed to put 15 here. 15 or you can choose between 1 and 2000. It's like rate limiting the requests. Configure this one. Okay, and then let's configure port security. Okay, and then port security, we will go to port security. No, it's actually port, then security. No, it's IP. IP. No, port security. let me check the command here. It's supposed to be switch port. Yeah, it's actually this one, switch port security, and that's it. And then you have to configure maximum how many PCs can be connected, how many max or how many PCs. Let's put 1. Okay, and let's put the violation also. Like what will happen if someone else connected another PC with different MAC address to the same port. You can say you have three actually: protect, restrict, and shut down. So in production environment we'll use restrict. Okay, but for lab we are going to use shutdown. So, and that's actually about, this is the main configuration actually. MAC address. Okay, here we have 3. You can either set the MAC address manually or you can configure it using sticky. Okay, sticky means basically it will check the first PC or device that's connected to the port. It will take its MAC address, put it figure port security automatically. You don't have to do anything. So this is the best way to do it, and that's about it. And make sure this is actually in the VLAN 20. Let's create VLAN switch port access VLAN 20. So that's it. So this is done. Then int G01 switch port mode access, and configure the same configurations there, and IP DHCP snooping limit rates 15, and switch port security, and there was a spelling mistake in here. Yeah, it's supposed to be like this. And switch port security, MAC address sticky, switch port security maximum 1, switch port security violation shutdown, switch port security, and that's about it, I think. And let's just configure let's put it in the switch ports mode access VLAN 10 ports access VLAN 10. Let me check the solution. VLAN 10 switch port access VLAN 10, and that's actually that's all we have right now. So let's check if it's still working. Let's test it out if everything is still working. Let's stop this one and start this one. Let's stop this one and start it. So that's it. Yeah. I think this has to do with the rate limit. 1 second. Let me open the switch here. Okay. This rate limit configuration, let's just remove it. Let's see what happens. So this is on interface G01, right? So let's go to interface G02 and do the same thing. No IP DHCP rate limit. So let's see what happens. Then yeah, this is actually a common issue that I've been facing. Okay, maybe also this disable the ARP inspection. 1 second. Just so we can know what's the issue exactly. IP. Yeah. So this is on which port exactly? Okay, let's go to this is 02, right? Int G01. Okay, and configure both the same. No, disable the rate limit. Let's see what happens. Let's just shut it down and start. So we can say this is not the this makes no sense. So let's go to let's do it one by one. Okay. I don't think this has something to do with the port security, because it's either from the ARP inspection, due to the ARP inspection, or DHCP snooping. But let's disable the ARP inspection. Let's check first. Let's see what is if it's the issue or not. Let's disable the ARP inspection globally. Exit IP ARP inspection, and we'll put no, actually no ARP inspection VLAN 10 and 20. I don't think this is the case. Maybe the issue is because no, but it should get, because it's already on the same let's see now. I think this port might be okay. I got it now. This G0 over 0 has to be trunk, because let's try it. Let's try that. Int G0 over 0 and put it switch port mode trunk. because you have to put switch port encapsulation switch port trunk encapsulation dot 1q. That's probably it's switch port mode trunk. So let's just see now. Let's check it out now. Let's close this one. Let's shut it down. Stop and start. Stop and start. Still can't find the DHCP server. Yeah, so we disabled DHCP. So I configured even this port as trunk already, but still nothing. So let me do one thing. Let me try one thing, then we will try. Okay, let me disable DHCP snooping altogether. Okay, and see what happens. CMD exit IP no IP DHCP snooping no DHCP. Okay, now let's go to the interface and G0 over G0 disable IP DHCP snooping trust. So let's see what happens. So we can figure out what exactly is the issue. Show IP, and let's just close it and open it again so we can stop this one, stop this one as well. Let's start it again. Start this. So we disabled the window. Let's disable the only thing remaining that we didn't disable is we already disabled that one. So let's do this one. ARP inspection. I think the main reason why this is not working is that no, but it's because we know it worked before because of the DHCP snooping actually. 1 second, exit. Yeah, no DHCP snooping VLAN 10,20 and no IP ARP inspection VLAN 10 and 20. Okay, so let's just enable this one and start. Let's just close this one for a moment, stop it and start. If you want to know why this is happening, like best way is to retrace back your steps and see what's causing this one. Yeah, I still cannot find the DHCP server. Okay, so I'm assuming the main issue is that we don't have a separate interface. Okay, because we put them on a separate. Let's try to configure router or a stick here. There are separate VLAN, assuming that's the main issue. because there is no inter VLAN routing or yeah. So let's put them on the same, on the sub interface. It's F0 overall 0. Okay. Yeah, the port is already configured. Config T alt F0.1. One will be 10. Okay, so I will just do for VLAN 10 encapsulation dot 1Q 10. Yeah, and then this is configuring the inter VLAN routing now. So I'm going to give this one yeah, because we configured only the we'll configure two different subnets, right? If they are on the same on different VLANs, usually they will be on a different subnet, right? So this one will be one encapsulation dot 1Q. It will be IP address IP address I'm going to intention. Okay. So let's start doing this. Yeah, so I just removed the DHCP, so we'll set it up again. Okay, now because we have multiple VLANs on the same network, right? This is the common setup, and each VLAN should be on a separate DHCP server. We should use on a separate subnet. Okay, to do this, I'm going to create DHCP here. Pool, let's say VLAN 2, VLAN 10. Okay, and network 192.168.10.1.0 255.255.255.0. Okay, and default router will be 192.168.10.1. DNS server will be 8.8.8.8. So this is how it is for the okay, VLAN 20. And the default router will be 20, and the DNS server 88. So I've set the two DHCP pool, one for each VLAN. Okay, basically this is how it is set up in the real world environment. Okay, so I've configured this one. So right now the next step will be to set up the sub interfaces, the inter-VLAN routing for between those two. We have to set up inter-VLAN routing because we're going to pass multiple VLANs to R1. So let's do that. Int G0 over F0 over 1, F0 over 0, and then we are going to no shut for this one, and F0 over 0 dot, we'll configure 10.10 sub interface, and here encapsulation dot 1Q 10. So and then we will configure the IP address here. IP address 192.168.10.1 255.255.255.0. Okay, and we'll exit and no shut, exit. So int F0 over 0 dot 20 encapsulation dot 1Q 20, IP address 192.168.255.255. No shutdown. So this way we have Yeah, we've set up the inter-VLAN routing for each router. Let's check now if it will work. Let's stop this. We have to make sure. Yeah, I already configured the VLANs here, right? Let's just double check on the switch if the VLAN is actually configured. Label show VLAN brief. Yeah, VLAN is actually configured already. So now actually it should get the correct IP based on the correct subnet. Its own correct. Yes, see, we got the IP. Show IP. Yeah, we got 192.168.20.2. So this is for VLAN 20. Okay, so this we got the correct IP. Let's check this one as well. We should get .10 different subnet. Yeah, 192.168.10.0 show IP. So basically, this is how you configure VLAN. How you configure DHCP for multiple VLANs. Okay, it's for the recommended way of doing it, best practices. And yeah, that's about it. We can check the DHCP snooping configuration. Yeah, but that's how it will work. DHCP snooping, we've talked about port security, DHCP snooping, dynamic ARP inspection configuration, and port G0, all this. Okay, and let's go back here, and we've covered the main topics. Okay, and we've talked about how to set up DHCP snooping and how to, yeah, and port security. I can show you an example. For example, let's say we have another PC here. Okay, so let's put it here. Okay, and this is actually on port G02, right? Let's cancel this one. Let's just remove this one, delete this port. Okay, I'll add one here. I'll put it on the same port, G02. See what happens. Or G01, I think. Is it G01 or G02? Yeah, G02, yes. So now it should disable the port, right? There should be an error coming. If everything's working correctly, it should be disabled actually. Once it's starting, it's not, because yeah, violation, security violation, caused MAC address on port this one, change state to down, interface gigabit change state to down. No, it's actually not working now, the interface.